We also have a brief presentation from Greg Weber, President of the APOA.
Good evening, President Lewis and councilors. Thank you very much for this opportunity to address you here tonight. I do not speak for the Albuquerque Police Department. I speak for the members of the Albuquerque Police Officers Association. I just want to make sure that's clear. As you're all aware, every 2 weeks for about the last 3 years, during public comment, the hardworking men and women of the Albuquerque Police Department have been called thugs, murderers, and liars. Unfortunately, as difficult and embarrassing it is for me to say this, during that time we have had some officers who have been terminated for good cause. We've even had officers, former officers, who have been arrested and charged with crimes. But those officers are the exception. I am proud to be a member of the Albuquerque Police Department. The men and women I have been fortunate enough to serve with are hardworking, they're dedicated professionals, and they serve the public, doing a job that few people would ever want to do, and even fewer people are capable of doing. These brave men and women risk their lives each and every day responding to calls that for many people are one of the worst events of their lives. The calls can involve people in crisis, people who are intoxicated, domestic violence, child abuse, feuding families, feuding neighbors, and violence that has either already occurred or is likely to occur. The officers must use their verbal skills, problem solving, and negotiations to de-escalate these situations. The situations are tense, they evolve rapidly, and the ending is always uncertain. A technique that worked in a previous event may not work on the next event. But despite the nature of police work, officers are phenomenally successful at resolving these situations. In 2011, these men and women responded to approximately 544,000 calls for service. They used force just 345 times. This is a success that you don't hear about in the media. Less than 0.1% of the time do officers use force. When you think about the situations that we respond to and the nature of police work, I find that number to be truly telling about the caliber of people who work for this great department. There are times when officers do have to use force. There are times when individuals would rather use violence than be captured by the police. In the span of a few weeks, we had police officers in the southeast area shot at while being led on a high-speed chase as they attempted to apprehend a wanted felon. We had one of our own officers shot while he was responding to a routine police call by a man who would later barricade himself in an apartment and endanger countless residents as he fired several shots at the multiple law enforcement agencies that were attempting to apprehend him. And we had an armed property crime offender run and ultimately engage SWAT officers in the Uptown area, despite numerous opportunities that individual had to surrender. We do not choose people's actions for them. That always seems to be missing from the criticism levied at the department. If someone chooses to carjack an old woman at gunpoint and then lead the police on a high-speed pursuit and threaten them with a gun, the police will protect themselves. If someone breaks into a church and ties up a security guard while they attempt to steal a safe and then fires shots at a police who come to apprehend him, the police will protect themselves. But thankfully those situations are rare, even though they do generate massive public interest. The public wants to know there are checks and balances. Police officers, like any employees, will receive complaints from time to time. And it's vital that the public know the oversight process is fair and it's objective. As I mentioned previously, we respond to about over 500,000 calls per year. On average, there are about 300 citizen complaints per year against police officers. So when you look at the numbers, less than 0.06% of a time do the Albuquerque Police generate a complaint from the citizens. I would encourage you to watch the videos as I wrap up my comments. I would encourage you, if you have not seen the videos of the Police Oversight Commission in their capacity, I would encourage you to watch the videos. I have seen meetings where it took them 45 minutes to approve the minutes from a previous meeting. I have seen citizens who have signed up for public comment silenced by commissioners on that POC. I think that that's the one area, while I do not agree with those who speak out against the department and call us thugs and murderers, I think that their concern about the POC is warranted. I think the officers are also concerned about the objectiveness and the fairness of the POC. So I would ask you to watch those videos, and as you move forward, there's no doubt this council will take action with regards to the POC. We would just ask that it be fair and balanced, and that we make sure that it remains objective and not skewed to one side or the other by those who speak out against us. And Mr. President, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. We move to our economic development.